What's up, folks? Welcome to a brand new video. I've got some more good news for you today. If you don't even need to be a Tory fan, you just need to not be a Labour fan, which I know there's plenty of us nowadays. We've got some new poll analysis by Best for Britain Group. I'll get into who they are and who funds them a bit later on. But first off, I'll read this little bit of the article. Boris Johnson and the Conservative Party are on course to win up to 366 seats at the general election, according to a massive new piece of polling analysis. A major piece of work conducted by Best for Britain, a pro-EU campaign group, suggests that the Tories could win a majority of 82. It also suggests that Jeremy Corbyn could finish with just 199 seats, a number which would be even lower than Labour's disastrous result under Michael Foot in 1983, when the party finished with just 209 MPs. That's a ridiculous amount. If Jeremy Corbyn ends up with 199 seats, he needs to go immediately the next day. As soon as the general election's over, just leave Jezza if you get below 200 seats, because you should be ashamed. But it's worth noting that the Best for Britain group is mainly funded by George Soros. I'll show you a little BBC article in a second where they go through the funding of it, and they said in June 2018, last year, the biggest donator was George Soros, and he donated about £800,000 to this group, Best for Britain. So they are very pro-EU, they are very, not necessarily pro-Labour, but they're very anti-Tory, so there's no reason that they'd be coming up with this sort of polling information if it wasn't quite close to the truth. The article goes on to state, such a result will represent a huge victory for Mr Johnson, providing with a stable foundation necessary to implement his Brexit deal and deliver his manifesto pledges. But the data also highlights the result on polling day will remain on a knife edge, with Mr Johnson's hopes pinned on holding and gaining seats in increasingly marginal areas. As a result, Best for Britain has identified 57 seats where it believes a small number of pro-EU voters could make the biggest difference and potentially scupper a Tory majority by voting tactically. Well, voting tactically nowadays is just voting Labour. Joe Swinson has killed the Lib Dems in the polls. The promise to revoke Article 50 did not strike a chord, which I'm very happy about, because I know Britain and we like democracy. She was basically asking, do you still like democracy? And most of us have said, yes, Joe, we really like democracy, thank you very much. And quite a few of them have gone back to Labour, but Tory numbers, they've had a few back from the Lib Dems, the more softer remainers, the ones that aren't on Twitter every day at week screaming at you every time you say something that's pro-Leave. But Best for Britain thinks that they could get 57 seats out of it, so that would be enough to sway this majority of 82, was it? Yeah, 82. But for them to be able to do that, that's some hard work to do, to convince that many people to switch back to Labour, especially when it means voting for Jeremy Corbyn. He is the most polarising politician there is. He's even more polarising than Boris Johnson at the moment. The article goes on. The group said if Remainers are prepared to hold their nose and vote for the party with the best shot of beating the Tories, then Mr Johnson could still be deprived of overall victory. So like I said, if they can hold their nose and vote for Jeremy Corbyn, which I don't think a lot of people can do in 2019, I'll admit in 2017 I voted Labour because I was of the opinion that our politicians wouldn't dare try to overturn Brexit, so I could just go back to voting my usual way, but I'm not doing it this time. You will not get me to vote for Labour or Jeremy Corbyn for a long time yet. The article carries on. The pollen analysis, or a bit of background on this, the pollen analysis was conducted by Focal Data and is based on a sample size of almost 40,000 British adults, with fieldwork conducted between October 15th and November 24th. It's the first piece of complex UK-wide election modelling to adjust for the impact of the Brexit Party not standing. So this is including Brexit Party pulling out of 317 constituencies. They still think that they think that the Tories will still get 366 under that, and Labour are going to struggle on 199. So that would be crippling for Labour. He's got to go. Corbyn has got to go if they get anywhere near 200. The predicted Tory figure of 366 MPs is based on the Conservatives receiving roughly 3/4 of the Brexit Party's vote share in areas abandoned by Nigel Farage. And I can say that's probably quite accurate. I've got 3 friends that I talk about politics to, and all 4 of us were going to vote Brexit Party, and 3 of us are now going to vote for Tory, and one is not going to vote at all, which is understandable, I suppose. Out of the other parties, the Lib Dems are expected to lose 3 seats and SNP gain 9. It all hinges on how well Labour do, for everybody really. SNP will win them extra 9 seats if Labour's vote collapses up there, and Lib Dems will almost hold on to how many they've got if Labour do badly in them areas, and the Tories, they'll win a large majority if they can just eat into some of Labour's working class heartlands, which they started to do in 2017, but they need to really eat into them this year, especially around Wales and in the northwest, because they're just not going to get a strong majority if they don't start taking some of these Labour heartlands this time around. This article goes on to state the numbers seemingly paint a gloomy picture for Remain backing parties in the UK, which I'm quite happy about. But Best for Britain said the statistics show that if 4,000 or less pro-EU voters use their vote tactically in the 57 seats identified by the group, then the Tories could be dragged back to just 309 seats, which is not enough for a majority. That would leave Mr Johnson a dozen seats short. In the tactical voting scenario, Labour would win 244, which is still less than what they won in 2017 with 262. The SNP would win 52 instead of 44 in the other scenario, and 35 what they have now. The Lib Dems would win 21, Plaid would win 4, and the Greens would win 1. So everybody would gain more apart from the really minor parties. Best for Britain estimates that the election could be swung against the Conservatives by as few as 117,314 pro-EU voters using their vote tactically, which I don't think is going to happen, to be honest with you. I know plenty of Remain voters that just cannot stand Corbyn. They hate him just as much as us Leavers do, because they know he's a Leaver in disguise and that he's just in a Remain party, so they don't trust him, much like we don't trust him. Best for Britain CEO Naomi Smith, our data shows that tactical voting will be decisive at this upcoming election. This is why I would really like Tories to pull out of just a few seats for the Brexit Party, just to show a bit of willing, because there are some seats that the Tories cannot win, and the Brexit Party do have a slim chance of taking the seat there. So for the sake of Brexit, just why not? Why not? Even with the Brexit Party collapse, there are still lots of seats in play for Remainers. This is crucial, as it means that they could be won by pro-EU parties if voters hold their nose and vote for the party with the best shot of beating the Tories. Again, they're really just trying to get you to vote for Corbyn. I don't know why they've got a picture of Swinson underneath. Nobody's going to vote her. They're going to not vote her and vote Corbyn if they want to stay. That's the only chance they've got now. Having updated our recommendations just as the first wave of postal votes land on doorsteps, we're confident that this election is up for grabs. We can stop Boris Johnson and stop Brexit. You can't. It's been over for a while. You just didn't realise. It was over as soon as Boris got the Tory leadership. So at the end of the day, things are looking pretty rosy, if I'm honest, because this is all information before that interview last night by Andrew Neil, which was a car crash. If you've not seen Andrew Neil, it's on my screen now, look. Andrew Neil interviewing Jeremy Corbyn. Go and watch it from last night. Andrew Neil absolutely destroyed him and just made him look silly. Before I go, I'll just show you this article on who Best for Britain are by the BBC. It was written June 2018, as you can see there, 5th of June 2018. So it is a little old, but it does tell you who finances them or what their aims are. Their aims are just persuade MPs to back a referendum on the first Brexit deal, on the final Brexit deal, sorry. That didn't happen. It's not going to happen. As soon as this general election's over, this will be over. But onto who finances them a bit further down, and you've got a big picture of George Soros. Surprise, surprise. The biggest individual donor is international financier George Soros, a Hungarian-born US citizen who has given Best for Britain £800,000 in total so far, with £400,000 of that coming since the start of the year through his pro-European Open Society Foundation. Now, 800,000 in June 2018. There's been another 15 months since then. I'd imagine that he's probably donated a little more. I'd guess they're over the million mark by now, put it that way. Anyway, that's all for today, folks. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to press this little subscribe button down here and hit the like button. It helps out massively. Take care, folks.